Okay, you wouldn't imagine from that graphic, but we are going to be talking about Harvey Weinstein. That's right. Now, the defense has been very aggressive in this case from the very beginning, being very bold, coming out in opening statements and talking about their client is not guilty and they're going to actually prove that. That's a bold move for a defense attorney beginning the case, not to mention the fact that there's fireworks or friction that keeps going on between the defense team and the judge. The latest that I remember, which is one of the attorneys, Arthur Aidala, saying to the judge, can you be a little more soft or kinder to the witnesses for the defense because you may be throwing the impression of negativity to the jury. I've actually had that same kind of argument with the judge. But we have the honor, privilege, and distinction to have the Law and Crime Network's Jesse Weber with us, who's right there on the scene in the courtroom. And ladies and gentlemen, Jesse's sending notes over here. They're like in 9-point font, and they're many pages long. So Jesse's not only in there, he's feeding us with data. Jesse, welcome. What's going on?
Hey, Bob. Yeah, listen, I'm trying to do the best I can considering no cameras are allowed in that courtroom. So I'm our Law and Crime's very own stenographer. So we had a very interesting day. And my opinion, it was a stronger day for the defense than it was last week when they called their witnesses. Today, we heard from two important witnesses. First, we heard from a Mr. Lopez, who was the residency manager of Annabella Shore's former apartment back in Gramercy Park. Now, as you recall, Annabella Shore testified that when she was dropped off by Harvey Weinstein at her apartment, she went upstairs, she got ready for bed when all of a sudden Harvey Weinstein, out of nowhere, surprises her, shows up at her apartment outside, knocks his way into the door, and ultimately sexually assaults her. Well, Mr. Lopez made it very clear for the part of the defense that for someone to come up to that apartment unannounced is almost impossible. And he's been at the building for, I believe, over 30 years. He even knew the names, the first and last names of the doormen during that period of time. And he said, look, we have a very rigid security system, 24/7 doormen, 365. The doors lock at midnight. The door is never left unattended. Even if someone needs to go to take a bathroom break, there is protocol for that. He himself is at the building constantly. And it made the point that it's almost impossible that somebody could do what Harvey Weinstein is alleged to have done, and that there's also no directory outside. So again, the question is, what apartment? How would he know even what Annabella Shore's apartment was? Even under cross-examination by Jonah Luzzi, she wasn't able to get this witness to contradict any of his statements or catch him off guard. There wasn't much for her to go with, so it was a strong witness. We moved on then to Talita Maya, a name that we've heard throughout this trial. She was a friend and former roommate of Jessica Mann. You'll recall that Jessica Mann claims that she herself was raped by Harvey Weinstein in a hotel room in 2013 here in New York City. Well, she claims she's basically contradicted a lot of what Jessica Mann said about her. She says that she never encouraged Jessica Mann to have a sexual relationship with Harvey Weinstein, that she herself didn't use Jessica Mann to get to Harvey Weinstein. In fact, she said the first time that she met Harvey Weinstein, Jessica Mann put her arm around Mr. Weinstein, pinched his cheek, and said, "So cute." Now, most importantly, she said that Jessica Mann never told her that Harvey Weinstein assaulted her, harmed her, hurt her in any way. She always said that Jessica was complimentary and always spoke highly of Harvey Weinstein. And in one notable exchange, she said that Jessica Mann told her that Harvey Weinstein was her spiritual soulmate. Now, this is in stark contrast to what Jessica Mann testified to earlier in this case, claiming that Harvey Weinstein was, in fact, a predator. Now, and also, it should be noted that the defense highlighted the point that the DA's office, investigators, they spoke with Talita numerous times, but yet they didn't call her as a prosecution witness. They didn't call her as their own. Got to think about, why is that? Is that because she really was harmful to the prosecution's case? Well, under cross-examination by Jonah Luzzi, she tried to highlight that this young woman is not friends with Jessica Mann and, in fact, hates Jessica Mann, and that's why she's testifying for the defense. But Talita said she doesn't want to be here. She never wanted to be here. She was subpoenaed. Prosecutor Luzzi also highlighted upon the fact that Harvey Weinstein may have been manipulating these women with false opportunities, that she herself stayed in contact with Harvey Weinstein on her own, that she possibly wanted to gain something from Harvey Weinstein. Prosecutor Luzzi also wanted to hit upon any prior inconsistent statements from Talita. So we saw a very interesting morning with two important defense witnesses. We believe the defense might have one or two more witnesses and then they're going to rest their case. So then it'll be up to the prosecution if they want to put on a rebuttal case. But we are moving pretty quickly towards the conclusion of the Harvey Weinstein trial.
Jesse, let me ask you, do you think the jury would be looking, I just ask you to jump into the minds of the jurors, or at least yourself when you're there, that this is a global case? Or do you think that they can parse out that I can believe one victim but not the other victim? Or does it all, you sink or swim, you either win or you lose?
Well, I tell you what, if you put me in the position of being in the jury, and I think this is the same way. Look, I went into this case knowing a lot about the details. Having said that, I didn't know all of the details. And yes, this jury knows who Harvey Weinstein is. They know about the Me Too movement. They know what he's accused of. But this is some of the first time that we've seen these details elaborated, these questions asked. And I believe that they are looking at these cases individually, as they should, because it's very easy to accuse someone of sexual assault and being a rapist generally. Very simple to do that with over 80 accusers. But to really get into the nitty-gritty of the details and how this happened is a totally different question. And remember, this jury is going to be tasked with a two-tier process. They primarily have to interpret whether or not Harvey Weinstein is guilty of sexually assaulting Miriam Haley and Jessica Mann. After that, and only after that, do they then consider whether he also sexually assaulted Annabella Shora in order to consider him guilty of the predatory sexual assault charge. It's a two-tier process. And let's not forget, he is not being charged with respect to any of the three Molyneux witnesses. They are there merely to support the accounts of the two main complaining witnesses. It's a complicated task. They have to analyze each question and each witness. But having said that, there is strength in numbers here. There is strength in numbers because what is this defense basically asking? Either all six women are lying, or they're lying, or some are mistaken, as we know from last week when they called this memory expert. They are mistaken about what ultimately happened. That might be a lot to ask a jury, that all six women are not credible.
Jesse, real quick, I see behind you a throng of media reporters. It's been something that I've been concerned about as a trial lawyer, myself still trying cases. Is the media being kept at bay? Do you think that the intersection of media analysis and people giving press conferences, that the jurors are protected and insulated from that?
It's impossible for them to not almost hear something about this case, whether it's on social media, TV, radio, happens all the time. They're not supposed to hear it. Now, the media exposure, I'm out here early in the morning before the doors open. None of the jurors come out towards where the media is. The media does not speak to the jurors even during the lunch break. We are not permitted in the courtroom to stand up or talk when the jury enters or leaves. They are trying to be isolated as much as possible. It's a difficult case. It's a difficult case because it's the most in my opinion, the most high-profile trial since O.J. Simpson, is it not? And I think it was miraculous that we had a jury selected so quickly. I also thought it was miraculous or a bit strange, that we only had three alternates. I would have imagined there would have been three issues at least by this trial, but knock on wood, don't have any near me. We haven't had any issues. So far, that's what we've seen.
Excellent reporting, Jesse. Thank you so much. And we love getting all your data that's coming in here. You're doing an awesome job out there. Jesse Weber from the Law and Crime Network. Thank you, Jesse. Guys.
Appreciate it.
Yep, sure. Professor, so what do you make into this? I mean, these are powerful witnesses for the defense. And I assume that the defense at the end of the day is going to say these are either disgruntled people that they didn't get what it was that they were looking for out of him or what have you. But I want to get to a more fine point. Is the fact that he was using his power and his fame and his success support a criminal charge?
Well, it should not. However, that is the underlying theme here, that he would not have been in this position. Harvey Weinstein wouldn't be in court, probably wouldn't have been accused if in some way, shape, or form he didn't have this fame or power. And, with each one of these accusers, at the heart of their accusations is the fact that he did have this power and he could help their career. So that's the underlying story.
But Brad, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I mean, people date people and have sexual relations for people for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's power. So is anything short of genuine love, if you are looking for something for somebody, a basis to file a criminal charge now if you don't get it at the end of the day?
Well, that's always challenging. I mean, as the Me Too movement expands and you start to wonder about all these victims coming out and you have high-profile cases, Kellen Winslow, Bill Cosby, But just like Jesse was saying, here you have an issue where, let's say some of them did do this because they were getting contracts for jobs and they were using Harvey to move their career. You still have to believe that all 6 of them did it for this reason. So even if 2 or 3 or 4 of them did it, it's still hard pressed to believe jury's going to say, you know what, let's let him walk free because we believe all of these people were in it for personal gain. I don't see that happening.
So what we're hearing, and similar to Cosby, folks, is that this 404 evidence or this other act evidence that they're allowing in because those people are outside the statute of limitations being used to show a common plan or scheme has very powerful impact on the jurors with respect to the 2 remaining victims. Okay, you can only get analysis like that from here at the Law and Crime Network. Thanks to Jesse. Again, we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.